The train's whistle wailed into the frozen air, a sound that carried like a warning across the plains. Steam bellowed white against the dimming sky as the iron beast groaned, its wheels biting into the tracks. The platform at Dry Creek Station was a lonely one, more wood than stone, more wind than warmth. By the time the train pulled away, scattering soot into the snow-tinged air, only a handful of souls remained. Drifters, ranch hands, men looking for trouble where the cold offered none, and her. She stood alone at the far end of the platform, a young woman with skin pale as the frost in the lantern light, dark hair wild about her face, black silk shoes sinking into slush. Her dress, once fine, was a washed-out shade of ivory, embroidered with faint patterns of red thread, but it was not made for this country, not for this weather. A vice, battered and tied with fraying cord, rested at her feet. No one looked at it. They looked at her. Her eyes lowered, shoulders hunched inward as though she could fold herself out of sight. But the men saw her, and that was enough. Their laughter was thick with whiskey, their words soaked in cruelty. Left her, did he? One Jared, breath fogging in the cold. Bride off the ship. No husband to claim her. Another spat on the wood near her shoes. Ain't worth $1 now. The wind cut sharper, carrying their laughter across the emptiness. She clutched her valve eyes as if it were her last tether. From the opposite end of the platform came the sound of small boots. 2 children, a boy and a girl, twins, their faces red with cold, mittens patched, coats buttoned tight. They held hands, stepping carefully along the boards. Their father walked behind them, tall, broad-shouldered, a man whose silence weighed heavier than words. His coat was wool, his hat low, his dark hair touched by the frost of early winter. The children stopped suddenly, their eyes so alike it was like looking into 2 mirrors, fixed on the woman abandoned at the far end. The girl tugged at her brother's sleeve, then pointed with a mittened hand. Her voice rang out high and certain in the brittle air. "Papa," she said. "She is our mama." The boy nodded solemn as if he too had seen truth in her. "Yes, Papa. She's our mama." Their father's steps slowed. Alex Carter had buried his wife 3 winters past, the earth frozen so hard they'd broken shovels to make her grave. Since then, he'd lived in a silence broken only by the needs of these 2. He had never thought to hear such words again. His eyes narrowed, but not at the children. He followed their gaze and saw the woman. Saw her thin arms trembling against the cold. Saw the way she fought not to meet the eyes of the men circling closer. Saw fear carved into her every line and shame like a brand burned across her lowered face. The twins did not move. Their small boots froze to the boards as the men drew nearer to her. Alex shifted his weight forward, his hands steady at his sides. He did not speak. "Not yet. Don't reckon you understand a word we're saying, do you?" One of the men barked at her. He reached out and caught the sleeve of her dress. The fabric strained. She flinched back, lips parting, but no sound coming. Alex moved. Then his boots struck the boards with measured weight, each step loud enough to draw the men's eyes. His shadow stretched long in the lantern glow. The twins followed, holding fast to each other, never letting go. The man clutching her sleeve looked up, sneer faltering at the sight of Alex's shoulders, the set of his jaw. Alex said nothing. His silence was its own kind of warning. "What's it to you, Carter?" one of them muttered, though his voice thinned. "She's nothing but freight left behind." Alex's hand came down. Not on the man, but on the woman's vow. He lifted it, the cord snapping loose, contents shifting within. He set it firmly into the crook of his arm. With the other hand, he gestured toward the wagon hitched at the road, snow crusting its wheels. The children didn't hesitate. They darted forward, the girl clutching the woman's hand, the boy tugging at her sleeve. Her eyes widened, panic and disbelief colliding with their innocent certainty. "Come," Ruthie whispered. "You'll freeze." She tried to resist, but her knees buckled. Too cold, too spent. Samuel braced himself. Only 7, yet his small strength anchored her enough to move. Together, the twins pulled her toward the wagon. The men muttered, some cursing, but Alex's presence loomed like stone. When one took a step forward, Alex's eyes met his, and the man faltered. It was not anger in Alex's gaze, but something heavier, older. Grief forged into resolve. None of them wanted to test it. He lifted her onto the wagon himself, hands firm but careful. She drew in breath sharp as the air, the shock of being touched with no cruelty behind it. The twins scrambled in beside her, one on each side, as though she belonged there by right. Alex climbed onto the bench, resigns in hand. The mayor stamped against the cold, breath steaming. He gave a single click of his tongue, and the wagon lurched forward. Behind them. The men shouted after, but the wind drowned their voices, scattering them across the prairie night. The station lanterns faded, swallowed by darkness. Snow fell in thin sheets, dusting the wagon boards, clinging to the woman's hair. She sat rigid, hands gripping the edges of the seat. The twins pressed close, their small shoulders leaning into her sides. Alex drove with eyes fixed ahead, jaw tight. The road stretched long, marked by ruts frozen hard, flanked by fields of brittle grass poking through snow. His silence filled the wagon, but it was not empty. It held weight, the weight of decision, of unspoken promise. The woman lowered her gaze, chest rising with shallow breaths. She whispered something, words soft and quick, syllables not of this land. Neither Alex nor the children understood, but they heard the tremor in it, the brokenness. Ruthie, without hesitation, slipped her mittened hand into hers and squeezed. The woman's eyes filled, though no tears spilled. Not yet. The wagon wheels struck a rut, jarring them all. Alex steadied the reins, but his gaze flicked once to her. He saw her thin frame wrapped in silk, unsuited for the cold, her lips bluish, her shoes sodden. Without a word, he shrugged off his coat and swung it around her shoulders. She stiffened, startled. Then, slowly she pulled it tighter, burying herself in its rough wool. The children leaned closer into the folds, making a cocoon of warmth, where moments before there had been only shivering silence. The road bent toward the Carter Ranch, a dark line of fencing half buried in snow. The house waited, smoke barely curling from the chimney, lantern light a flicker in the window. It was not much. A cabin raised by hands now gone, patched and worn by storms, but it was shelter. The mayor pulled to a stop before the porch. Alex climbed down, boots crunching on frost. He lifted the twins one by one, then turned to the woman. She hesitated, gripping the coat as though letting go would strip her bare again. Alex reached, not forcing, only offering. After a breath, she placed her hand in his, and he steadied her to the ground. The children skewered up the steps, calling for fire, for stew left simmering. The woman lingered, snow swirling around her skirts. She looked back once toward the darkness where the train had gone, where men's laughter had threatened to consume her, then forward to the cabin door, where warmth and strange belonging waited. Alex opened it for her. His face was unreadable, but his eyes shadowed, lined with loss, held something that told her she was not freight, not discarded, not here. Inside, the air smelled of wood smoke and broth. The fire crackled low, shadows dancing across rough boards. She stepped across the threshold, her soaked shoes squeaking faintly. The twins dragged her toward the hearth, eager, as if they had found what they had long been missing. Alex set her valise by the white-tousled, eyes bright with the mischief of new morning. Ruthie ran straight to her, clutching at her arm as if she had been theirs for years. Samuel was slower, but he smiled shyly as though secrets had already grown between them. "You sit with us," Ruthie said, tugging her toward the table. Her accent rolled sharp Western, her tone full of command a child need not justify. Samuel nodded in solemn agreement. Alex made no objection. Rulon allowed herself to be drawn forward. Her steps hesitant but obedient to the children's pull. The table was rough, scarred by years of use. Its surface worn where Alex, late wife's hands had once cleaned, where Alex's fists had once struck in anger at storms, where the twins had carved letters of their names with a dull knife. Now it held 3 bowls, steam rising. Alex poured one more without looking directly at her. When she sat, he pushed it across.